You love her.
Yeah, but I wanted to punish myself. I thought of myself leaving Robyn and having another lover and looking at this lover and going, I don't love you. I'm in love with another woman. I'm in love with a woman that I left because I was too much a piece of.
So you see him imploding?
He tries to.
Yeah.
He tries to.
But is he sabotaging your relationship?
He tries to.
Hi besties, welcome back to my channel. So wow, we have a lot to unpack today. If you've been following the Sister Wives drama, you already know Kody Brown has a way of stirring things up, but this latest development, oh my god, it's next level. Robyn Brown is fuming, and it all started because Kody, of course, decided to hint at adding a new wife to the mix. Can you even imagine? Before I dive into the clips and break it all down, I just need to talk about something wild that's been floating around online. There's this video on a smaller channel claiming that Robyn actually threatened to leave the family completely over this. And let me just tell you, that's a mix of exaggeration and straight-up nonsense. People are taking tiny bits of footage and building entire stories around them. Classic, right? But anyway, back to today's drama. Robyn's reaction, totally intense. You can tell she's been holding a lot in for years. And when Kody drops something like this, casually hinting at a maybe we could bring someone else in, it's basically lighting a fuse. And trust me, she did not stay quiet. So let's talk about Robyn's initial reaction. The moment Kody hinted at adding a new wife, you could literally see her eyes widen, her jaw tighten, and honestly, I think any of us would react the same way if we were in her shoes. It's not just about jealousy or hurt feelings, it's about respect and boundaries. Robyn has been through so much with Kody over the years, managing a complicated family dynamic, and here he is, casually suggesting expanding the family again, like it's no big deal. And here's the thing, this is classic Kody Brown behavior. If you've watched the show for a while, you know he tends to drop these little what-if statements, almost like testing the waters, seeing how people react. But with Robyn, he may have miscalculated. She's not like the others who might quietly accept it or just nod along. Robyn has a backbone. She's been the steadying force in the family, keeping everything running smoothly while handling conflicts behind the scenes. It's interesting because this moment really highlights the long-standing tension between Robyn and Kody's tendency to toy with the idea of adding more wives. Over the years, we've seen glimpses of discomfort, subtle frustration, even moments where she gently pushed back. But this time, there's no sugarcoating. You can feel the anger simmering just below the surface. And honestly, I think that's why this clip has everyone talking. Alright, besties, here's where it gets really intense. So Robyn doesn't just sit there quietly. No, she fires back. You can see the tension in the room immediately. She's standing there, arms crossed, voice calm but sharp. And she asks Kody, "Are you serious right now? And I swear you could cut the tension with a knife." Now, let's be real. Kody tries to play it off, like it's just a casual thought, but Robyn isn't buying it. She's been through this family's ups and downs long enough to know when Kody is testing the waters versus actually meaning it. And I love this part because you can feel her internal conflict. She's frustrated, she's hurt, but she's also trying to keep her composure in front of the cameras. Classic reality television emotional roller coaster. Right. What's really interesting here is how her body language tells the story. She's pacing slightly, pointing when she speaks, and there's this fire in her eyes that just says, "I'm done being pushed around." And Kody, he's looking a little sheepish, trying to justify it, and you can almost see him thinking, oh, maybe I went too far this time. And I feel like this moment really encapsulates years of suppressed tension. Robyn isn't just reacting to this one comment. She's reacting to a pattern. The passive hints, the maybe we could statements, the casual dismissals of her feelings. And this, my friends, is why this confrontation is so compelling. It's real, it's raw, and it's been building for seasons. Now, let's focus on Kody because his reaction here is something you cannot ignore. After Robyn fires back, you can see the shift in his demeanor almost immediately. The casual, confident Kody who tosses around what-if scenarios, gone. In his place is a man who is suddenly aware that he may have crossed a line, and you can literally see the gears turning in his head as he scrambles to justify what he just said. He starts with the classic Kody defense, the soft, slightly nervous smile, and he says something along the lines of, I was just thinking out loud, exploring possibilities. And, can we just pause? That's a classic Kody move, right? It's this subtle way of downplaying a situation to avoid accountability. And honestly, it's kind of infuriating because Robyn sees right through it. You can see the frustration on her face as she listens. And there's this little twitch in her jaw, the universal signal of someone trying not to lose their temper. But here's the thing, Kody is in a tough spot because he knows that this isn't just about one comment or one passing thought. Robyn is looking at him like she's holding the accumulated weight of every time she's felt dismissed, every time she's felt like her opinions didn't matter, every time she quietly pushed back while maintaining peace in this giant, complicated family. And this moment, this single sentence from Kody, has cracked open that carefully managed facade. And I have to point out, Kody's attempt at humor or lightness during this moment doesn't land. He tries to chuckle nervously, maybe thinking it'll soften the blow, but it only intensifies Robyn's reaction. There's a reason people are watching this clip on repeat online. It's raw emotion laid bare. You can almost hear the collective gasp from the viewers, because even if you've been following Sister Wives for years, moments like this where the tension finally erupts into something tangible are rare. Now, this is where I have a little tangent I need to go on because it is relevant. Think about the dynamics of this family. Kody has often been in a position of authority, whether intentional or not, and this has caused friction across the board. Robyn has always been the peacemaker, but also the one who quietly bears the brunt of any disagreement or decisions she doesn't agree with. So when he hints at adding another wife, it is not just about a hypothetical scenario, it is representative of deeper imbalances in their relationship. It is a power move, whether he realizes it or not, and Robyn's reaction. Totally justified. And here is the kicker. Kody's defense, his attempts to rationalize or minimize the comment, actually makes things worse. Instead of calming the situation, it fuels the fire. You can literally see him internally debating whether to push the conversation further or retreat. And honestly, watching it unfold, you feel a little tension yourself, like you are trapped in the room with them. This, my friends, is the kind of drama that keeps people glued to reality television for decades. It is not just gossip. It is the study of human interaction, power, and emotion all wrapped into one hour-long segment. And I promise you, we haven't even scratched the surface of what Robyn really thinks at this very moment. Alright, besties, now comes the part where you can actually feel Robyn's emotions. If you watch the footage closely, you can see a subtle shift. That fire in her eyes we talked about before starts to meld with something deeper. Hurt, disbelief, and yes, frustration. She has been on this roller coaster for years, and when Kody makes this casual remark about adding another wife, it is not some annoying comment. It is representative of every one of those times when she has felt secondary, overlooked, or dismissed. I have to say, one of the things that makes this so relatable is how human it is. She doesn't blow up in some grand melodramatic way, no yelling or overacting. But you can sense the storm brewing inside. Her hands tighten slightly. She shifts her weight. And there's this almost imperceptible inhale that tells you she's holding back words she's been dying to say for years. And that, my friends, is a classic hallmark of a reality television moment that goes viral, controlled yet raw emotion, simmering just under the surface. What I think is fascinating is you can almost hear her internal monologue if you pay attention. I imagine it going something like this. How many more times do I have to prove my worth? How many more hints or offhand comments before he actually listens? I've kept the family together, managed so much. And now this. You can almost feel the weight of decades of compromise, patience, and silent endurance weighing down in that room. But what really makes this intensity even more charged is the fact that the cameras are capturing, for all intents and purposes, Robyn's thought process in real time. Every tiny gesture, every pause, every glance at Kody or the other wives adds layers to that story. And you know what? That's the magic of reality television commentary. It's not just reporting on what happened, it's narrating what is feeling beneath the surface. And Robyn's feelings in this scene, electric, almost tangible. Now, a quick tangent because I feel like we need some context. Think about the broader Sister Wives narrative. Every wife has had moments of tension with Kody, but Robyn is unique because she's positioned as the central figure in many ways. She's been the glue, the mediator, and yet she's also the one constantly walking a tightrope of expectations. So when this hint of a new wife enters the conversation, it's a microcosm of everything that's been building over the years. And that's why fans are glued to this one segment, because it's decades of tension boiled down into one intense moment. And let's not ignore the subtle power play here. Robyn isn't just reacting emotionally, she's also measuring, thinking, weighing every word. That's why her response feels so layered. She's not naive, she knows what she's doing, and she knows that any overt reaction could escalate things further. So she balances emotion with strategy, a delicate, almost surgical dance that makes this scene endlessly watchable. By the way, can I just say how satisfying it is to watch someone finally not hold back after years of internalizing frustration? You feel a little victorious with her, like, yes, Robyn. Finally, this is the moment we've all been waiting for. Now, let's zoom out a bit and look at how the rest of the family reacts. Because this isn't just Robyn and Kody in a bubble, the whole dynamic of the Browns shifts the moment this conversation happens. The other wives? You can see them exchanging glances, subtle eyebrow raises, small smirks, some perhaps trying to look neutral while secretly thinking, oh, this is going to get interesting. For example, Mary has that "I've seen this all before" expression. She is definitely predicting how Robyn will respond, and honestly you can almost hear her thoughts. Let's see if he finally pushed her too far. Then there is Christine, who seems curious and a little apprehensive. You can tell she is torn between wanting to support Robyn and not wanting to escalate the tension. And honestly, that is what makes this moment so compelling. It is not just one-on-one drama, it is a ripple effect throughout the whole family. And this is where I have to pause for a quick tangent, because it's relevant. Think about the family structure here. Polygamy in theory is all about balance. But in practice, it is messy, complicated, and full of unspoken rules. Each wife has her own history with Kody, her own threshold for frustration, and her own strategy for survival in this system. So when Kody drops this hint about a new wife, he is not just testing Robyn, he is indirectly triggering subtle responses from everyone else in the house. And I love that reality television gives us this peek into it, because you see the web of tension, loyalty, and suppressed emotions that fans have speculated about for years. Now, going back to Robyn, you can see her noticing the reactions of the other wives. She is aware that her response will set a tone, and she is very deliberate about it. There is this one moment where she gives this slight nod to Mary, almost like she is acknowledging her silent support. And then she turns back to Kody with this unwavering stare. That stare, besties, it is powerful. It is like this subtle warning: I am done. Don't test me. And the beauty of this scene is that it's relatable, even if you've never watched Sister Wives before. Everyone has been in a situation where someone says something thoughtless or provocative, and suddenly the reactions of everyone around you matter as much as your own. Robyn embodies that universal experience, balancing personal emotion with social awareness, navigating not just her feelings, but the ripple effect her response will have on everyone else. Honestly, I feel like the other wives' reactions are almost as telling as Robyn's. It's like watching a live experiment in human behavior. Their expressions, body language, and unspoken cues add depth and layers that you can't get from just listening to dialogue. And that's why this clip is so shareable online, because it's not just a fight, it's a multi-dimensional look at relationships, loyalty, and the pressure cooker of living in a polygamous family. By the way, have you noticed how subtle shifts in body language can tell you way more than words ever could? That's exactly what's happening here. You can see who's quietly siding with Robyn, who's skeptical, and who's just waiting to see what happens next. And that, my friends, is what makes this hour-long saga so binge-worthy. Now we get to my favorite part: Robyn starting to take control of the conversation. After Kody's hint about adding a new wife, she doesn't just react emotionally, she shifts gears and begins to strategically reclaim the space. You can see it in the way she positions herself, the measured pauses between her words, and the firm tone she uses. She's no longer the passive listener, she's actively steering the conversation and setting boundaries. One of the first things she does is calmly but firmly address Kody. You need to think about the consequences before saying things like that. And it's not yelling, it's not dramatic. It's the kind of statement that carries weight because it's deliberate. And I love how subtle this moment is because it shows that Robyn has learned to wield her power quietly but effectively. She doesn't need to explode to make a point. Her composure is the point. Now Kody tries to interrupt. Of course he does. He attempts to soften the situation by suggesting that maybe he's just thinking out loud again, but Robyn doesn't let him. She holds up her hand, slightly tilts her head, and says, "No, I'm listening, but you need to understand how this affects everyone." And right there, you can see the dynamic shift for once. Kody isn't controlling the conversation. Robyn is. And here's where I have to add a little tangent, because this is so important. In a family like the Browns, control and perception are everything. Kody has historically had the upper hand, not because he's forceful, but because he sets the tone and the narrative. Robyn taking control here is significant. It's a disruption of that long-standing dynamic. It's not just a personal win for her, it's symbolic of how power can shift when someone finally asserts themselves. As the conversation continues, Robyn starts framing her points in a way that resonates with the other wives too. She's subtly building an alliance, reminding everyone that this isn't just about her. It's about the family's stability and fairness. And the other wives, you can tell, are taking mental notes. Some nod slightly, others glance at Kody with a mix of surprise and acknowledgement. It's a quiet but powerful moment of solidarity forming in real time, and I love that this is happening organically. There's no over-top drama or screaming for cameras. It's subtle, but you can feel the tension and the stakes rising. Robyn has shifted from reactive to proactive, from emotionally overwhelmed to strategically commanding. It's the kind of evolution that keeps fans talking long after the episode ends because it's real, it's relatable, and it's empowering. Finally, there's a moment where Robyn pauses, looks around at the family, and says something that stops Kody mid-sentence. It's measured, thoughtful, and just enough to make him reconsider his next words. And honestly, watching that moment is like watching a masterclass in negotiation, emotional intelligence, and standing your ground. Robyn isn't just surviving this conversation, she's leading it. Now we're getting to the part where things really heat up. After Robyn asserts herself and takes control, Kody tries to recalibrate. You can literally see him weighing his words, trying to find a way to maintain authority without completely igniting Robyn's fire. But here's the thing. He's in a tricky spot. Robyn has already shifted the power dynamic, and every attempt he makes to soften the conversation only makes the tension more palpable. He begins with his classic strategy, charm and reasoning. He leans slightly forward, his voice lowers, and he says something like, "I'm just exploring options, I'm not saying it will happen, and besties, if you've seen him before, you know exactly what's happening. He's trying to backpedal without really admitting any fault." But Robyn, she's not having it. Her eyes narrow, she tilts her head slightly, and that subtle shake. That's the universal signal of someone saying, "I see right through you." And it's fascinating because the tension in the room is almost tangible. You can feel it through the screen, the other wives. They're quiet but watching intently. It's like they're holding their breath, waiting to see if Kody will overstep again, or if Robyn will escalate. And I love this because it's not just about the words, it's about the energy in the room. Every glance, every shift in posture, every slight hand movement is loaded with meaning. Now, I have to take a little tangent here because it's essential to understand what's really happening. Kody has always had this pattern of testing boundaries. He drops a hypothetical idea, gauges reactions, and adjusts accordingly. It's subtle manipulation, and Robyn has dealt with it for years. But this time, the dynamic is different. She's not just reacting emotionally, she's thinking strategically, she's reading the room, and she's calling him out without overreacting. That's why this moment feels revolutionary in the context of sister wives. And here's the kicker. Every time Kody tries to soften his words, Robyn interrupts politely but firmly. She doesn't yell, she doesn't insult, she just redirects the conversation with calm authority. And watching this, you can almost feel a collective cheer from fans, because this is the Robyn we've been waiting to see. Confident, composed, and unafraid to stand her ground. At one point, Kody hesitates, clearly realizing that his usual tactics aren't working. His voice falters slightly, and for the first time, you can see the vulnerability in him. He's confronted with the reality that Robyn is not only aware of the family dynamics, but also fully capable of challenging him. And honestly, besties, that's the tension that makes this scene so compelling. It's not exaggerated for television, it's raw, real, and relatable. By the end of this segment, you can almost feel the shift in the family's energy. Kody knows he's met his match in Robyn, and the other wives are silently absorbing the new dynamic. This isn't just one heated conversation. It's a moment that has ripple effects across the entire family structure. This is where Robyn really takes the spotlight. After holding her ground and redirecting Kody, she begins delivering a more assertive, thoughtful speech. She doesn't shout or make it dramatic. Instead, she speaks with clarity, control, and purpose. You can see the power in her posture, the calm in her voice, and the deliberate way she chooses each word. Every phrase is measured, and every sentence lands like a small but firm reminder. I am not invisible, and I will not be ignored. What's fascinating here is how the other wives react to this. Mary, for instance, seems slightly relieved, like a silent acknowledgement that someone finally said what needed to be said. Christine has this subtle smirk, almost like she's enjoying seeing Robyn step up while Kody is forced to respond. Even the newer wives, who usually stay in the background, are leaning in slightly, paying attention. You can feel that ripple of support, quiet, understated, but undeniably there. And this is what makes this scene so compelling. Robyn is not just addressing Kody, she's speaking to the entire family dynamic. She's making it clear that boundaries exist, that her voice matters, and that the family's decisions affect everyone, not just Kody's whims. And the beauty of this moment is that she does it without drama, without overacting, and without breaking character. This is the kind of authentic, layered storytelling that keeps fans glued to reality television. Now, I have to pause for a quick tangent because I think it's worth highlighting. Think about all the years Robyn has spent managing this complicated family system. She's been the mediator, the peacemaker, the one absorbing tension, so the rest of the household could function smoothly. And in this scene, all of that experience and emotional intelligence comes together. Her speech isn't just a reaction, it's a culmination of everything she's learned about navigating, surviving, and influencing the family. And can we talk about Kody for a second? You can see the discomfort in his expression. The confident, laid-back demeanor we've seen for years is replaced with tension, slight defensiveness, and the faintest hint of worry. He realizes that the usual tactics won't work here. Robyn isn't just reacting emotionally, she's strategically and emotionally commanding the room. And honestly, watching this unfold is fascinating because you can almost sense the gears turning in his head as he tries to figure out the next move. From this point on, the room is electric. You can feel a mix of tension, admiration, and suspense. Every gesture, glance, and pause is loaded with meaning, and it's exactly why viewers keep hitting replay and discussing every nuance online. Robyn's forceful speech doesn't just shift her dynamic with Kody, it subtly signals to the other wives and the audience that she is a force to be reckoned with. And besties, the way she delivers this moment, satisfying on so many levels, it is empowering, relatable, and long overdue. You can literally feel her strength radiating through the screen. It is one of those moments that'll be talked about for seasons to come. Now we get to Kody's reaction after Robyn's assertive speech. And honestly, it's priceless. You can see the shift immediately, that casual, confident Kody who usually talks his way through situations. Gone, in his place is a man who is visibly stunned, trying to process the fact that his usual tactics aren't working. His jaw tightens, his eyes widen slightly, and there's this brief pause, a pause that says everything without him uttering a single word. And let's be real, this is a rare glimpse into Kody's vulnerability. Usually, he's the one controlling the narrative, testing boundaries, and steering the conversation. But in this moment, he's reacting. He tries to interject, of course, offering explanations and justifications, but Robyn doesn't give him the chance. She holds her ground, maintaining that calm authority we've seen develop over the past few parts. And honestly, watching Kody in this position, it's satisfying for viewers who have been waiting years to see someone challenge him effectively. Now, the tension isn't just between Kody and Robyn, it's spreading through the entire family. The other wives are watching closely, reading every facial expression, every micro movement. Mary seems quietly approving, Christine looks entertained but cautious, and the newer wives are visibly tense, likely thinking about how this will affect their position in the household. You can literally feel the atmosphere shift. It's like a ripple moving outward from Robyn's assertive stance. And I have to take a little tangent here because it's important to understand the gravity of this moment. Polygamy in theory is a complex balancing act, but in practice, it's a constant negotiation of power, influence, and emotional stakes. Robyn stepping up here is not just a personal victory, it's a subtle shakeup of the family hierarchy. She's signaling to everyone, including Kody, that her voice matters, that her opinion carries weight, and that she will no longer be silenced or sidelined. Back to Kody, you can see his usual confidence eroding as he tries to navigate this confrontation. His body language is telling, slight slouching, hesitant gestures, and the occasional nervous laugh. He's trying to reassert control, but it's clear that the dynamics have shifted. Robyn has effectively disrupted the narrative he's used to controlling for years. And this is the part that keeps fans glued to the screen because it's real, unfiltered human interaction. No scripts, just raw, unpolished reactions. What I love the most is the subtle tension between the wives and Kody. They're not actively intervening. But the way they watch, the way they nod or frown, it adds layers to the scene. You can feel the collective anticipation building. Will Kody escalate? Will Robyn push further? Or will there be a silent standoff? This kind of multi-dimensional tension is exactly why this hour-long saga feels like more than just reality television. It feels like watching human psychology unfold in real time. Robyn lands her final verbal strike, and honestly, it's chef's kiss. She doesn't shout or throw a dramatic tantrum. Instead, she delivers a carefully crafted statement that's both firm and assertive, the kind that sticks in your mind long after the scene ends. You can see it in the way she slightly leans forward, locks eyes with Kody, and chooses every word with precision. This is Robyn at her most strategic, calm, composed, and in total control. She says something along the lines of, "If we are talking about adding someone new, then everyone needs to understand the implications. This isn't just about you or me, it affects all of us." And Besties, that line right there, it's gold. It's assertive without being aggressive, and it forces Kody to pause. He can't casually brush it off because she's framed it as a matter of fairness, stability, and family consequences. It's like a masterclass in standing your ground while keeping your composure. The reaction is immediate. Kody freezes for a second, clearly realizing that his casual comment has turned into a serious discussion that he can't deflect. You can see the tension in his shoulders, the subtle twitch in his face, the way he hesitates before speaking. He's in uncharted territory, and that hesitation says more than any words ever could. Meanwhile, the other wives are watching intently. Mary gives a subtle nod, Christine's smile is just slightly more pronounced, and even the newer wives are leaning in, clearly recognizing that Robyn has just shifted the dynamics in the room. It's not a dramatic victory dance, it's a quiet, undeniable moment of influence and authority. And honestly, watching this is satisfying because it's real power. Not the loud, over-top type we often see on television, but the kind that comes from confidence, experience, and emotional intelligence. And here's a tangent I need to mention because it's key to understanding this scene. Robyn has spent years navigating the pressures of a polygamous family, managing emotions, mediating disputes, and quietly maintaining her role. What we're seeing now is the culmination of that experience. She's using everything she's learned to assert herself effectively, and the fact that she doesn't lose composure makes it even more powerful. You can literally feel the shift in the room. The energy has changed, Kody is on the defensive, and the other wives are silently reassessing the balance of power. That's the brilliance of this moment. It's subtle, strategic, and deeply satisfying to watch. Robyn doesn't need to raise her voice or throw objects. Her words carry weight because they're calculated and intentional. Now that Robyn has made her point, let's talk about the aftermath because this isn't something that ends when the conversation does. You can feel the energy lingering in the room. Kody is visibly unsettled, shifting slightly in his chair, avoiding eye contact, and trying to collect his thoughts. It's like he's running through every possible response in his head, realizing that the usual charm and thinking out loud tactics aren't going to work this time. The other wives are processing too, and their reactions are subtle but meaningful. Mary looks reflective, almost like she is silently reassessing the family dynamics. Christine has that slight grin, the one that says yes, someone finally called him out. And even the newer wives are watching carefully, likely taking mental notes on how to navigate these high-stakes conversations in the future. You can almost see the ripple effect. Everyone is recalibrating based on Robyn's stance. And here is where it gets fascinating. The family isn't just processing Robyn's words, they're processing the power shift. For years, Kody has often set the tone in these interactions, casually testing boundaries, making offhand comments, and guiding the family narrative. But Robyn's assertiveness changes that dynamic. It is subtle, but you can feel the shift in energy. The old equilibrium has been disrupted, and everyone is taking stock of what that means moving forward. Now, I have to take a little tangent because this is classic sister-wives tension. Polygamous family dynamics are inherently complex, and balance is fragile. Even small comments or casual hints can trigger large emotional responses. Robyn's ability to assert herself without being aggressive is very important because it sets a precedent. Boundaries matter, voices matter, and even Kody can't just float ideas without the consideration of everyone else. That is why fans are so invested. It is not just drama. It is real-life power negotiation unfolding on camera. Back to the scene. After the tension in the air, there is a quiet pause. Kody shifts in his seat, sighs lightly, and mutters something almost under his breath. It is not quite clear if it is a concession, a defense, or just nervous processing, but the effect is the same. The room feels different. Robyn has set a tone that cannot be ignored, and the other wives, they're now more aware than ever of Robyn's influence. There is no overt confrontation from them, but their expressions tell the story. Subtle nods, quick glances, and slight smiles convey respect, acknowledgement, and maybe even a hint of relief that someone finally took the lead. Now let's talk about the moment that really got the internet buzzing, because trust me, fans did not hold back. As soon as clips of Robyn asserting herself went online, social media lit up like wildfire. Fans were sharing screenshots, GIFs, and reaction videos, all highlighting her calm but firm dominance in the conversation. And honestly, it's not surprising. This is the kind of scene people love. Emotional, raw, yet strategic. With layers you can dissect and debate for hours. On Twitter, fans were all over it. Some were applauding Robyn for finally taking a stand. Others were dissecting Kody's facial expressions frame by frame. A lot of comments said things like, "Finally, someone told him off," or "Robyn is a queen, she's been holding it in for too long." And I have to admit, reading these reactions myself, I got chills. It's one of those moments where you see reality television achieving something more than entertainment. It sparks conversation, analysis, and even admiration for emotional intelligence. And then there's TikTok. Oh my God, besties! TikTok went crazy. Fans created short compilations of Robyn's most assertive moments in this scene, overlaying them with dramatic music or captions like, "When you've had enough, and finally speak your truth." The clips were shared across Instagram and YouTube Shorts too, and within hours this conversation had crossed beyond just Sister Wives fans into general reality television fandom. People were calling it one of the most satisfying confrontations in years. And here's a little tangent I need to add. The virality of moments like this isn't just about drama. It's about relatability. Everyone has been in a situation where they had to assert themselves against someone who underestimated them, and seeing Robyn do it with poise and strategy resonates deeply. That is why these scenes get shared, discussed, and celebrated, because they're aspirational in a way. What is also interesting is the ripple effects fans are predicting in the family. Threads and discussion boards are filled with theories. Will Kody change his behavior? Will the other wives start asserting themselves more? Has Robyn finally redefined her position in the family hierarchy? And honestly, these conversations are part of what keeps the show relevant season after season. One powerful moment can completely reignite fan engagement. And this, my friends, is exactly that type of moment. Now, let's wrap this up and talk about what this all means, both for the Browns and for the viewers. After Robyn's assertive confrontation with Kody, one thing is for sure, the family dynamic has shifted. Kody, for the first time in a long while, is cognizant for the first time in a very long time that he cannot casually float ideas or make off the cuff comments without Robyn establishing her boundaries. And honestly, that is a huge turning point. It is subtle, yes, but monumental in the context of decades of family tension. Now, looking ahead, I have a few predictions. First, we're likely to see Kody proceed more cautiously. His usual confident and boundary-pushing ways dialed back, at least for the time being, because Robyn has proved she will stand her ground. Second, the other wives may feel empowered to follow Robyn's example. Even tiny gestures of subtle disagreement or tiny assertions of opinion may become more common as they learn that speaking up doesn't mean chaos. It can actually earn respect and influence. But let's take a moment to talk about why this very moment strikes such a deep chord with fans. It is not just drama for drama's sake. It is an act of emotional intelligence, strategy, and a show of empowerment. Robyn is not screaming her head off, behaving like a child, or overreacting. She is laying down the law with clarity and confidence. And that is rare and satisfying in reality television, more so in a family setting where a person's voice can be easily lost. And so the long-lasting effect? The confrontation will be brought up in conversations for years to come. Clips will go viral, gifs will spread, and fans of every online community will be circulating online, tirelessly dissecting Kody's reactions and all the subtle family dynamics that shift. It is the type of scene that cements a legacy moment in reality television, empowering, tense, and incredibly shareable. And for viewers, there is a sense of catharsis in watching someone finally stand their ground. Many viewers have been rooting for Robyn for years, watching her navigate a complex, often frustrating family dynamic. Seeing her assert herself effectively, calmly, strategically, and successfully is a moment of catharsis. It is validating for longtime fans and inspiring for anyone who has ever had to speak up in a challenging situation. So, in summary, Robyn's confrontation is multi-layered. It is a clash, yes, but it is also empowerment, strategy, and transformation. The family is readjusting, Kody is rethinking his strategy, and the fans, they love every second of it. This is that kind of hour-long drama that makes people talk, debate, and share for weeks. And honestly, it is just what keeps Sister Wives right at the center of reality television discussions. And now, besties, I want to hear from you. What do you think will happen next? Will Kody actually respect Robyn's boundaries? Or is this just a temporary shift? Will the other wives start asserting themselves more? What is your reaction to this long-awaited showdown? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and of course, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and click the bell so you never miss a deep dive like this. Thanks for sticking with me through this intense recap. Bye, besties.